Whoa! Look at that!
This is a big fish.
Oh my God!
You know, when I get a chance to get away, my favorite place to go fishing is Ontario. For all the trips I've taken there over the last 40 years, my expectations have always been far surpassed. And last summer was no exception when I swung through Ontario to check out some new lakes I'd never fished before. First was a fantastic fly-in adventure to a beautiful historic lodge as part of the Chevy Silverado sweepstakes, where the walleye fishing was out of this world. At Pine Portage Lodge, located not far from Wawa, Ontario, we got the best of everything.
Oh! God, it feels good to be here.
There's one.
Oh, here's a nice
Biggest
walleye.
one today.
Oh, that's nice fish. That's 4 and 4 casts, man.
That one hit on the way down. Right there you go.
Oh,
There you
go, man.
The biggest walleye of my life.
In only a few days of fishing, we literally caught hundreds of walleyes, plus some unbelievable trophies to boot. It truly was yet another Ontario experience that I won't soon forget. And yet again, Ontario didn't disappoint. So today, I'll share another Ontario adventure, which wasn't too far from that awesome Pine Portage adventure. This time, I'm headed to Wakomata Shores Resort, looking for one of my favorite fish of all time, big smallmouth bass.
There's finally the sign. I gotta be getting closer.
Upon arrival at Wakomata Shores Resort,
How are you? Mike, how are you, sir? My pleasure.
I was greeted by several of the area resort owners and treated to a wonderful welcome dinner.
Wakomata Shores Resort is located in the Mississauga River Valley, and there's a series of 6 resorts in this area, and the area is probably unique as one of the most scenic parts of our country. People that come here can really appreciate the beauty of the Laurentian Highlands and the pristine, clear lakes that are located here.
Today I'll be fishing with John Shannis, a fisherman from Sault Ste. Marie who's been coming here on vacation for the past 40 years. Now, John loves smallmouth bass, and we're both looking forward to having some fun together. It's late June, but thanks to Mother Nature's stranglehold on winter, water temps haven't quite warmed to optimal spawning temperatures. Our approach is to begin looking shallow for spawning smallies. Cover water, hope to find them holding tight on beds, and pitch directly to spotted fish.
There he is.
The lake's about 6,100 hectares. The lake is about 250 feet deep in places. And the unique thing about it is Wakomata means big clear. And the water is so pristine and so clear that you can really see down into the depths and you can watch the fish as you're fishing. So that's kind of a hoot.
Oh, they're just starting. It starts to worm. Oh, quit it. See, that's the thing I like about them. They will not quit.
Yep.
Here, you go back to your bed there, kid. But that's a very good sign. This weather system this front has moved these fish, and they're just sitting out here. They don't care about eating right now. They want to get their spawning done. They're probably later than usual.
Yeah, because this year we had the lengthy winter that didn't want to go away, and everything's a little late.
You know, you can ask a girl to dance as many times as you want to. How many times you ask her doesn't make any difference. It's what her mood is, you know, and if she decides to dance with you, well, there you go. And until she does, asking doesn't make any difference. Boy, this is good looking smallmouth water. I love to spot them and work them. Love to spot areas. Oh yeah.
You got her. Nice one.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Bite number 2. Well, that's pretty nice fish. Look at her. That water's so clear.
Yeah, well, that's a nice one. That's why it's called Big Clear Lake.
Is that what
Wakomata means. Big clear.
Wakomata means? Big clear lake?
Yep.
See, when those fish are really up and gonna go, every one of those rocks will have one sitting by it. This is a boy. The girls probably won't even start coming in. That's a nice boy too, though.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Fish. Thanks for the easy release too.
Oh, there's one.
Ooh, that's a nice fish.
Yep. Not bad size. Not as big as Babe's though. It's there.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think tomorrow is going to be a whole different day. That's a nice fish.
There we go. Go back and get bigger.
Back now to Ontario at Wakomata Lake, where John Shannis and I are in search of spawning smallmouth bass.
Well, welcome to day 2 at Wakomata. We caught a fair amount of smallmouth yesterday. We were just getting out of a front east-northeast wind the entire day. Kind of cold and crappy. And we still caught a good bunch of smallmouth because we homed in on a pattern and we just pounded that pattern. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We're bypassing water that's not the highest percentage kind of water we know of. That's going to be a secret to how many fish we're going to catch today, I think. The more time we spend in great water, the more time we're going to have spent catching fish. This is as
Perfect, eh?
fine of a looking edges as we've seen, but there's nothing up on it. I'm going to go right up over the top of the hump here and drop off to 16 on this other edge.
There we go.
There we go.
Well, that's a nice one. Wow, look at them down there. There's tons of them down here. Look,
I know.
they're all over the place. You got another one chasing it.
I know. That's crazy. You landed the one. And then 2 more fish come up after.
Yeah, look at.
Ever seen that happen like that before, John?
Nope, never seen it happen before like that.
When you fight a smallmouth, the other ones can feel it by vibration, and they can tell that it's in a feeding thing or something, and they come over. I've had 20, 30 of them come up at a time.
That's a female.
Yes, and she looks full of eggs too
Yep.
yet.
Yep.
If one guy gets a fish on and the other guy doesn't have it, grab your jig rod and be ready for just exactly what I just did. I went straight underneath the boat and I raised it up about 3 feet off of the bottom. Nice fish, because I'm seeing the fish. See, there's another one right here, stood right outside the cone. He came up to see what this one is doing. I'm leaving this one fight, hoping that another one will come up. This guy's going right underneath the boat.
Okay.
Got one?
Yep. There's more coming.
Is there?
Yep. Oh, he turned away.
That's a nice fish too.
Yep, it is.
And this is not a big one. It's 3 pounds or better, but here's what happened, just so you know. It's a high pressure system is built in, a major cold front had gone through. And man, we ran a pile of good shoreline this morning and didn't see nothing. I mean, one little guy about this long and one about that long were the only 2 smallmouth and all that we seen fishing cover, throwing the rocks, throwing the logs, throwing everything else. I said, let's go back and try this hump again. Well, I spotted fish on it, but they wouldn't bite. And I said, you know, if we had some minnows or leeches or crawlers or something, I think we could get them. John says, well, I got a bunch of those back in my cabin. I said, let's go. So we got them. You know, we could have continued doing what we were doing. Real easy. But man, it's not what we want to be doing that makes a difference. It's what's causing the fish to be whatever mood they're in and doing what they're doing that you've got to adapt to. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. And I don't care if it's live bait, and some of you bass fishermen out there might say, live bait, I wouldn't use live bait. Say, well, good for you then. But see, I don't care. I'll use live bait, I'll use artificial, I'll use a combination of both. Whatever it takes to catch them, that's what I want to do. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And that doesn't mean we're going to do it all day, but we're going to work this hump over pretty good. There's one. Get your rig ready because we might bring more up with this. Nice fish. We might want to net this. And the males get ready to spawn, they have black, dark bellies. Can be right there. See, this one I think is a male. I know it's a male. And it's starting to get black. Do you see that?
Yeah,
the belly
I see that,
is? So they're wanting to get in.
There's one.
Big fish.
Yep.
Let's just net that one. That's a big fish.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yep.
That's the biggest fish we've had. Right there. Hit that leech, didn't it?
Yep.
Good job. Good job. Look at how bronze that one is. Doesn't have the bars and the markings like the other one. That's a female, I think.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, good job.
Up next, during the summer months, there are all kinds of natural harvests going on, and as you're about to see, not all of them involve fish. So I thought it might be interesting to share a unique tradition that my wife Christine has gotten into in recent years.
Today I'm mushroom hunting with Mike on one of the Minnesota state forests, which is open to the public, and it's right on a trail. And we're gonna have a ton of fun.
Absolutely.
Is this just like a free-for-all? You just keep walking with your head down looking for mushrooms?
Mushrooms the mushrooms we're after relate to different types of trees. They're called mycorrhizal mushrooms. So chanterelles, for instance, will relate to some of the pines in the area. In the south, those same chanterelles would relate to white oak, where here up north, there is no white oak. So they've sort of made this relationship with pine trees.
Please teach me everything you can teach me today so I can continue doing this fun thing.
You bet.
All right. Now see, is this mushroom edible?
This one is not edible. This is a genus called Russula. And we know that from the way the gills attach here and the color, this stem, or they call it a stipe, would break like a piece of chalk. It makes a very snapping sound to it. So this one is best known for its slang name, which is the sickener.
Make you deadly sick.
It isn't going to kill you. You just might wish you were dead. Some of the ways you can learn about mushrooms, of course, we all have this great resource called the internet around. So there's a plethora of information, but unfortunately, mushrooms have a lot of very intricate details that go into making a proper identification. So, you know, you can get so far, and on certain mushrooms that are the more easy to identify, you probably can do that. But from that point forward, you really kind of need to connect with somebody who can mentor you, or, you know, we offer classes, that sort of thing. This is really a good time of the year when most mushrooms are starting to debut, most of the kind of the mainstream of the mushroom season, which is really July through the end of October. And even into early November. And if you look there, there's some beautiful chicken of the woods. I have a lot of fun when people write me about this. That's all edible, and I tell them, absolutely not. Give me your address, let me come and remove it for you. When we're going down a new path like this, what I'm usually doing is I'm looking at maybe the first 10 yards off the path. Another interesting thing about mushrooms is they tend to like areas that have been disturbed. So whether that's human foot traffic or ATV trails or something along those lines, or a deer trail, anything like that, you'll often see certain types of mushrooms that grow right along that trail.
All right, where is it? I'm
gonna have you find it.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Chanterelle.
Tiny. Should you be bringing them out by the root like that, or does that matter?
No, that's okay. I usually just kind of like you did, I usually push them over and then kind of snap off at the base.
Because they also say not to take the root.
Not really based in science.
God, I've been living a lie. My whole life I've been living a lie.
Usually a lot of regrowth occurs where you do that. Not going to harm things.
Okay, I got mushrooms.
You know, Confucius said, all things are beautiful, not everybody sees it. And this is a great example. This is called the old man of the woods. For fairly obvious reasons, it looks like a really old mushroom, even though this is a really young, fresh one. This is an entirely different type of mushroom called a bolete. And boletes don't have gills at all. They have pores that their spores drop through. So here's one that's really at a much more mature stage. You can really see the dramatic difference. These are not gills at all. They're, you know, if you came in very close, you could see that it's just a series of irregular shaped holes that the pores are dropping spores out of.
Well, that was a good find then.
Yeah, 2 more edibles.
What do we want to turn black though today?
Well, pasta with squid ink is a favorite at some restaurants, so you can kind of make a play on it with these mushrooms. Lobster.
Oh, I see it.
So you remember the the russula that we looked at right off the bat, this is actually a russula when it begins, but it's attacked by another type of mushroom called hypomyces. And so when it's done with this parrotization, we end up with this third completely different mushroom called Hypomyces lactiflorum, or a lobster mushroom. This is really in prime condition. This is how you want to pick them, when they have really firm, it's orange, you don't see any red or maroon, which will happen later in their life. And when you turn it over, so you can actually see these gills that are still remnants of the old russula that used to be, but it turns it into this bizarre sort of shape, and it derives its name from the color. That's probably a half-pound lobster.
Now, what would be the easiest way to cook this?
A lot of people like this mushroom as much for the texture as they do for the flavor. It has a very unique texture and a little bit like a water chestnut. It's so almost crunchy even after it's cooked. You know, you can cook these the same way you cook white button mushrooms in all your dishes at home.
Okay, well, let's head back and put these
Absolutely.
to good use.
Yes.
Let's eat some of these babies.
Every year I spend a lot of time in Ontario because it's just one of those places that I know I can always go to find fantastic fishing. And last summer's trip to Wakomata Shores Resort for Smallies turned out to be absolutely no exception. With more than 400,000 lakes, rivers, and streams, that's right, 400,000, Ontario truly is an angler's paradise. Wakomata was reputed to be a great smallmouth lake, and it didn't disappoint. I would have loved for the timing to be right in the thick of the spawn, because we certainly would have seen many more of the giant bronzeback that this lake kicks out every year. But I did discover a new lodge with fantastic hosts, a relaxing environment, clean, modern, and comfortable cabins that come fully equipped, and a full-service restaurant with home-cooked meals that would rival Chef Ramsay's best. For more information on booking your own Ontario family adventure at Wakomata Shores, I encourage you to look them up on the web or give them a call. I'm positive that you won't be disappointed if you go. So yeah, the moral of today's story is, for all you millions of Americans within reach of that Canadian border, don't ever forget that in Ontario, you'll find fantastic lodges, endless waters to fish, and angling action seldom found close to home. I mean, that's why I keep going there year after year. I'm Babe Winkelman. Thanks so much for watching today, and until next time, everybody, hey, good fishing.